See, the cold part is there's so many people in here, I just want to get a microphone to. Now begins me. I suppose I should give some thank yous. First off to my mother, all in night. And really all the freedom fighters, you know what I mean, that did it for us. I have to then thank my brother Tongo Eisen-Martin. Who also did the artwork on the cover, and is in general my leader in life. And guess we gotta thank some white people now.
You don't have to. It's all right, man.
The first white person I was like is actually in the back there, Derek Fenner, the publisher of Bootstrap Press, who without which maybe none of y'all would never know me. Okay, and then moving along to the city lights, white people. I'm just playing. First we gotta go with Elaine, just for, you know, opening the doors wide open for me. You know, to let me, you know, to put some history in my pocket, you know, that's a beautiful thing. And Chris in here who puts up with me. He keeps it all on point. Peter, he did. Also one of my favorite white people. And Bob, I don't know if Bob is here. Also put up with me. And last but not least, in city lights, you know, not a white person, my big sis Tom. And man, it's too many, man. I could really just, you know what I mean, you, and all of you, you know. I got my elementary school teacher in the back. I don't know, man. We're just gonna start singing poems. Hey, and you. Christine.
I made it.
My brother and I are driving in an empty cell lane. We are guys equal to these settlers. They might throw us under the shift change. We take wolf naps. We don't know what else we good at besides this traveling. State lines in the night tide, passing through beachhead America, passing with hurricane memory, 3,000 exits of sludge-bathed apartheid. Everything south of Canada is extrajudicial gun oil and your local unemployment factory. In a few hours we will fit in. We relax for now. Hop out the car and I am a dirty shoe illusion. Leaning on the trunk with the ghosts of switchblades and other rusty services. I am enemy humor and traveling. Father's ashes on the back seat. Behind two sons in a lane not for metaphor. Well, maybe a metaphor about something unfinished. 1 million hands passing us through the Midwest. Last wishes by way of fishtail, daydreams by way of collision, home in the badlands of translation, relaxed passing great-grandparents' finger bones, father's ashes, No longer arms, just tattoos. Badlands imagination, barreling, translating the father's last trip home. We don't know what else we're good at besides just traveling. Exits in collage, exits in pieces. Pieces of 1970s kitchen plates and a good luck refrigerator we still ain't in. The narcotic swing of how we see yesterday. Get out the car against desperate white supremacy. Gas station greetings, stray dogs and other earth-born alarms. We are straight deadly. Against desperate white supremacy and other senses that die silly and are murdered. We don't know what else we good at besides this traveling. 2 coins of the toll is us, character interstate, on a journey of a million parallels. Some like us better high, some like us better drunk. Shit, every late night has a summer to it. Cousin Breeze and Murder Ray barreling like gut-born love songs. Your ancestors are smiling as we pass the time, when we ride this language past Gary 3000. Cast iron lining, proud forearms for mere meals. 3-man ghost story. Fishers of ourselves. Cards dealt, narrative implied. Maybe something unfinished. Like an Indiana hurricane. Two midnights in Milwaukee. No arms, no tattoos. No Chicago, ever again. We don't know what else we good at besides this traveling. And besides, heaven is all goodbyes anyway.
That's good.
This poem was called Cut a Hand from a Hand. You know, if you reverse the car any farther, you will run over all the scenes in the back of your mind. I never cared for teachers. Just the patterns of their fainting spells, of course induced by Waller. All that to say, propaganda is courage, man. And the price sticker hides my tattoo. I treasure my problem with the world. My mother becomes from Brooklyn first thing in the morning. That's a proverb around these parts. Proverb, a peasant entrance password, writing short notes to famous Europeans on the back of postcards with ransom requests. They reply with a newsreel or a cigarette announcement. I can't tell the difference. Noble dollars, then you die inside, but only inside. They call it sleeping deeper than your stalker. And stalker is all that badge makes you, says a great spirit dressed in the bloody rags tuxedos became. Meanwhile, my punch is feared by no one. Proud of yourself, I ask my fret hand. Porch lights is what they call our guns. I seen this house in a dream. I believe a trumpet was the first possessed object to fly. Keep going, she cheers. The draft in the room becomes a toddler obsessed with the altar becomes a runaway train. I got 1,000 pains like these cascading down my skinny arms. Dictionaries piled up to the window bars, a reminder to the population that your blanket can work with or against you. Shit, human reef. We will be a big human reef for concepts that finally gain a metaphysical nature and they will swim around our beautiful poses. We stop being flashbacks. It stopped being 3 different people, then I was alone. The pistol 1 city away. One of the drug triangles lines runs through my head. I tap the bottle twice and consider the dead refreshed. Hey, don't you want to rest your bravery? Don't you want to be a coward for a little bit? Back and forth to a panic attack with no problems nor fears. A man gets a facial expression finally. A Friday finally goes his way. His life is finally talked about happily in his head. I can't possess the body of a hermit. I must be the last of his smoke. Now running the other way with 3 blocks of alley tucked under my arms. You ever see a man get to the bottom of his soul in a car ride down a missing cousin street, half step to the right? I mean, I took the whole car outside of history, half step to the right. I mean, a whole pack of wolves step to my left. Road marker is what I call the light bulb we had for a sun. A whole civilization might slink to the sink. A chain gang shuffling next to a sucker, also known as the long look in the mirror. A stack of money starts talking from 4 cities away. this poem, you know, as directed by my mother, you know, why you never say the poem titles? This poem is called it's called The Simplicity of Talent, which will probably be then piggybacked by a poem called Skid Bid. The first cigarette makes this parking lot my bedside. The second cigarette makes this parking lot my front pocket. Next I hold the witness like a newborn, though half-hearted. Brittle teeth by my art, watch how we talk in depopulated circles. You caught me, said the hangman to the condemned. Caught me red-handed, but the hangman's hand kept moving nevertheless. Biting flags eastbound and other familiar sound effects of revolutionary would call us a landless fire. The night train agrees that these are my keys. I'm just admiring your fabric, Lord. My art is rational. Therefore, my life is in danger. Shit, traveling up the tap this time and it looks like water was never here, just jail noise and the jail noise politicians speak. Now this world is weak, man. Lost its graffiti too many times. I tell the witness all characters are in motion regardless of what that day did to your disposition. I also left that piece of good news in the ashtray next to my nickname. You know every room has a kitchen in it. Every life has company to feed. Every room has a rumble in the corner. 8th grade heroin in my hand along with pieces of an uncle. A purgatory grease fire got us worried. The phone rings in 1988. An epoch begins when a mother hangs up. This is not writing poems. This is wishing Carlos well. Here comes the tap water whistling past our heads. Institution tile under brake pedals matching white watches painted on palms for smash and grab recollections. People who are related by ballot. Hot play failures fishing for proletarians. The matchstick that's a draft card by the time the loaner finishes sweeping the train, also related by ballot. Strips of underpaved streets hang like strips of film in thin air. I miss the carpentry more than the religion. I tore the tattoo out my uncle's picture and lent it to my friends, one left cross at a time. You know, life mine behind my back. They say that child will do better upside down. The child's cake party is in the precinct. Mainstream tune playing upside down, a t-shirt with their face on it printed on a cop's thumb. 28 hours later, a headrest will do. The city rain feels like clientele. I dozed on the back of a bus and woke in the mind of a 3-story man. Shit, God, won't you hear with that crowbar in your hand? All the world is the 3rd floor. Seasons invent themselves, but we invent the underground. Cause and effect, nothing but a casual venue I once played. He decided not to kill me like giving loose change. Hey, don't teeter now, tall man. I was nobody at point blank range. Nobody, finally again. Lung first I feel. A love, then a rule, then a hate. Dance moves within murder attempts within dance moves. They lean back and be celebrated by small people, he said. The clothes on my life teacher needed new patches. Sit back and disrespect it all. I've given up on counter-revolution. I said, well then here's your weapon, little bank. Hey, that's our father you writing graffiti on. Horn players beat him up and everyone left the altercation a better person. Knowing what you know now, would you still have written fortunes on the bottom of church shoes and put them back on the rack? How does everyone think that a rich guy is their twin? Along with other tantrums, just my cue. Fortune teller has sleeps while talking about a mare treading all over the posters in my childhood room and how cold calculation mothers nothing in a vision of chess pieces and chains. He says, then you will have fear. And then, my friend, you will have form. I'll walk with you, brother. You know, a whole lot of God can happen in 3 seconds. Not much heaven, though. Here's a man before fire. Believe me, a long type character emerging from the penniless death of a one-way street fiction. I mean, I'm gonna make it even if I have to drive backwards. All I got is chord changes and 1,000 backhands. Driving the street like I'm choking. Car full of nephews. Hasn't been a sun since November, and there hasn't been a street I can't choke to death. This city better back down. You see this gun on the table? And something about staring until it all feels stable. Why wouldn't I protect everyone? All my deaths sleep late. My son better be quick. My daughter better shoot first to see we fall for no one. We fall for nothing. Okay, the first thing you'll feel is the heat. This lady would tell me, telling me about possession and drink life neat is what I mostly hear, and most of the world leaves me alone. To go to jail every once in a while, to breathe small like a giant when the genocide kicks up in late May, when politicians have too easy a time. I'm gassing backwards out a one-way street in honor of myself and in honor of you, if you understand the nature of the world. How long I've been just like my father, one hell of a resemblance, says the anxiety of 5 men. This is Crossroads. Crossroads narrative, so much crossroads, they got in the habit of turn back only to find themselves remembering me, but not my last words. A man before a fight should feel the heat. There's nothing to keep in mind, there's nothing to remember, really nothing to be. Just this moment, then another, then stare, then it all becomes stable, then the table legs go fuzzy, and Friday's an unfamiliar face peeking in the window. It's cool to panic for a second. Composure is wasted on your worst enemies. People are marked on that sidewalk. You the only thing life-size. Everybody knows this in a wire hanger empire. When the blood stops walking, this feeling isn't father enough to be permission to fall. You better swing one more time. That father of yours rose from the grave and said, just give me 5 more minutes. He said, running water is a myth. It's us who are running up, down, and all alongside this water. And people don't rise from the grave. They're not laid down neither. It's us who flip all around their body. So beware when the people all around you look like they about to jump. It might be your time. You feel the heat. And when 4 walls demand to be 4 walls, and the earth outside mutes, don't panic. And don't try to recreate the earth outside. Don't tell jokes to yourself. Don't even talk disrespectfully to the 4 walls. Instead, unclench your fist and walk away. There might be heaven if you understand the nature of the world. A tour guide through your robbery, he also is. Cigarette saying, look what I did about your silence. Ransom water and box spring gold, this decade is only for accent grooming, I guess. Ransom water and box spring gold, the corner store must die. War gangs, I guess, all these tongues run is junk. The start of mass destruction begins and ends in restaurant bathrooms, and some people use and other people clean. Are you telling me it's a rag in the sky? Waiting for you, yeah. We've written the same, we set a stage, we should have fit in, warehouse jobs are for communists, but now more corridor and hallway have walked into our lives. Now the whistling is less playful and the barbed wire overcrowded too, my dear. Hey, if it's not a city, it is a prison. If it has a prison, it is a prison, not a city. When a courtyard talks on behalf of military issue, all walks take place outside of the body. Dear life to your left, a medieval painting to your right. Now this makes an impression, crowd people living in thin air. You got 5 minutes to learn how to see through this breeze. When a mask goes sideways, barbed wire becomes the floor, barbed wire becomes the roof, 40 feet into the sky becomes out of bounds. When a mask breaks in half, mind which way the eyes go. They killed the world for the sake of giving everyone the same backstory. We're watching Gary, Indiana fight itself into the sky. Old pennies for wind, for that wind feeling you get before the hood goes up and over your headache. Pennies that stick together, mocking all aspirations. Stuck Together Pennies was the first newspaper I ever read, along with the storefront dwelling army that always lets us down. Where the Holy Spirit favors the back room, souls in a situation that offer 100 ways to remain a loser. Souls watching the clock, hoping their eyes don't lie to sad people. What was he talking about again? The narrator asked the graveyard. 10 minutes flat, said the graveyard. The funeral only took 10 minutes. Man, never tell that to anyone again. Hey, you just go pin the 90s on me. All 30 years of them. Then why should I know the difference between sleep and satire? The pyramid of corner stores fell on our heads. We died right away. That building wants to climb up and jump off another building. These are downtown decisions. Somewhere on this planet, it's August 7th, and we running down the rest thinking one more needs to come with me. What evaporated on Earth so that we could be sent back down? A conductor of minds in a citywide symphony, waving souls to sing, he also is. Bear with me, everybody. Apparently, too much of San Francisco was not there in the first place. This dream requires more condemned Africans. Or, put another way, state violence rises down. Or, still life is just getting warmed up. Or, army life is looking for a new church and ignored all other suggestions. Or, folktale writers have not made up their minds as to who is going to be their friends. This is the worst downtown yet. And I'll borrow a cigarette everywhere. I've taken many a walk to the back of a bus that led on out the back of a storyteller's prison sentence, then on out the back of slave stores, but this is my comeback face. I left my watch on the public bathroom sink and took the toilet with me. Threw it at the first bus I saw, eating single mothers half alive. It flew through the bus line number and on out the front of the White House. You know, hopefully you find comfort downtown, but if not, we brought you enough cigarette filters to make a decent winter coat. A special species of handshake lets all know who's king and what's the lifespan of uniform cloth. This coffin needs to quit acting like those are birds singing. Rusty nails have no wings, have no voice other than that of a white world dying. They're book pages in the gas pump. Hey, catchy, isn't it? The way 3 nooses is the rule, or the way potato sack masks go so well with radio codes, or the way condemned Africans fought their way back to the ocean only to find waves made of 1920s burnt up piano parts, European backdoor deals, and red flowers for widows who spend all day in the sun mumbling in San Francisco. Red flowers, but what's the color of a doctor visit? There are book titles in the streets. Book titles like Hero, You Make a Better Zero. Or Fur Coat Lady, The President is Dead. Or Pay Me Back in Children. Or They Hung Up Their Bodies in Their Own Museums. And other book titles pulled out of a drum solo. Run Here, Hero. Live the Hiding Place. All the bullets in 10 precincts know where to go. Ain't no heaven nor any other good idea in the sky. Politics means that people did it and people do it. Understand that when in San Francisco and other places that was never really there. Bet this ocean thinks it's an ocean. But it's not. It's just 6th and Mission Street. All know who's king. King of thing. You know, like America, I'm proud to deserve to die. I'm going to eat my dinner extra slow tonight in this police state candy dispenser you all call a neighborhood. No set of manners goes unpunished. Never mind a murderer's insomnia or the tea kettle preparing everyone for police sirens. See, I'm off to make a church bill out of the bank window. Kitchens meant more to the masses back in the day. Before that, we had no enemy. Somewhere in America, the prison bus is running on time. You don't want to lose that job before the revolution hits. Somewhere I won't be home for breakfast. Everyone out here now knows my name and I won't be trying again for at least 4 months. The cop in the picket line is a hard-working rookie. The sign in my hands is getting more and more lax. It says the picket line got cops in it. I can take care of those windows for you if you want, but someone else got to go inside your gas tank. It was clear to me that rich people had talked too much this year. Hey, why don't you go ahead and throw down that marble park bench everyone's looking up at? You know, get the Romans out of your mind. Maybe a good night's sleep would have changed the last 20 years of my life, playing the instruments like punching the wall. Like, what would you have me do? Replace the population? Give brotherhood back to the winter? Stop smoking cigarettes with the barely dead? You know, hey, listen in on the Sabbath. Police called the police on me. There was a white candlestick beneath my detention. I ruined the super hearing, thought the judge, as he took off his robe behind the white people's door and more. I didn't get lucky. I got what was coming to me, he told. Bite me back, the man said. Of course, to himself, washing windows with a will to live. Tin can on his left shoulder, enjoying the bright brand new light with all party goers, both supernatural and supernaturally down to earth. Like, what is this elevator traveling side to side? Like 1,000 bitter Polaroid pictures that you actually try to eat all the furniture on this street nailed to the cement. Cheap furniture, but we have commitment. This morning, an essay opens a conversation between enemies. Why? Because you control every grain of processed sugar between here and a poor man's border. Because in the tin can on my left shoulder, I can hear the engines of deindustrialization. You should get in the painting, you know, tell lies more deeply. This month, I'm rooting for the traitor, carting cement to my pillow. Here we will build. I'm high again, not talking much. And when you climb up the organ pipe to our apartment floor, I'm high again, calling everything church, singing along to a courtyard, thanks to a horn player's holy pastime. Man, I'm just putting a real jacket on it. Talk about a real 5 years. Keep memories like these in the pocket next to the toll receipt. That man lost a wager with the God of good causes, you know. Stood up for himself just a little too late. That shit, maybe too early. I can still see 20 angles of his jaw zigzagging through the cold world of deindustrialization as an art tool. I will tell my closest friends one day. Okay, so that's all the poems I know from the new book. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we did. What's up? What's going on? How you going? Am I doing good?
I love you, Tongo.
Thank you. Alright, well, you know, I'm just gonna say one more thing because I gotta get some of the old school shit off real quick, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go on one more quick run and then we can all run for our lives. Shoot. Capitalists, you know, drop 10 tons of barbed wire onto my Tuesday shift. We shot back at the chimpanzee pilots for the sport. The contractor already smoked 3 cigars. Hey, you wanna know what's funny though, real quick, time out? Bro, I know that who's talking the loudest outside, I know him. Shut up, man! You know what I mean? Come in this motherfucker or not, man. Excuse my right now. I'm like, bro, I know that voice.
They're quiet now.
Man, what?
Your voice,
All right.
Barry.
So, capitalists dropped 10 tons of barbed wire on my Tuesday shift. We shot back at the chimpanzee pilots for the sport. And the contractors already smoked 3 cigars. Only an hour into my court appearance shift. Supervisor likes the smell, says it reminds him of when he ran the streets. And all I remember is we shot back. A gated puppet dances along. Bars and jigs says I am the happy one of Legion. Meanwhile, kids commit childhood behind this wooden plastic joints. Wire dodgers under this silly puppet. A silly puppet dancing for white heaven. Like weapon is the jacket and precinct holds Friday hostage. We go through a fossil jog and see the judge. The tunnel at the end of the light. I sleep until woke by dry cereal and surrender. This holding cell only needs a giant panhandler's palm to shake us corn men around. I'm breaking my fingers for my sister's bill collectors. Garage casket open, all third world parallels kill openly. Breaking my lungs for my sister's rent on the sculpture of construction dust. I miss cigarettes by mid-morning. I miss Hennessy by sundown. I miss murder by inches. $5 bills cherish my days outside, always behind. There's no concentration in this courtroom. Just a bunch of B+ students living out their nightmare. How do I plead with a straight face? 2 blocks up is a reoccurring clip, along with slavish paraphernalia, along with an ordinary panhandler, along with ethnic parade history, along with an ethnic parade, along with 13th graders. Let's talk about the fact that 4 dead children later, I still don't have a problem beating you up in front of everybody. Let's talk about the fact that money is death. Down to my last $5 is what I call this shoe. 10 o'clock political education is what I call this dream. I got the job is what I call this blues. 2 days later is what I call the cliff. Capitalists eat until the world is blurred to them. These streets are made of saliva. And some people made of saliva too. They usually got on uniforms. While a crazy man spins round and round trying to make a record out of this mass production jungle. Maybe I'll join them, count cash and cry. These streets is made of saliva. And white sheets are worn by a building in which kids are supposed to learn how to read well. White sheets on the highway too. Another man needs their head on a pike. One down is just one down, but you tell all this to the masses and your teacher will pipeline you. They told me I was jewelry. They told me this is jungle. Maybe not jungle, more like 50 machine guns planted in the ground. It's raining faces again in California. What does it say about heaven? What does it say about the people you kill? Waiting lines got so exhausted, 1 million minds dropped all these faces at once. If the fascists can read the lips of a giant talking in his sleep, we might as well make our demands in prison letters. Today was born the most important trigger finger in the world. Today, I began to count down the pages between now and a pile of books by a tunnel. Chicago. Is gonna walk out of Chicago one day. Babies that drag street signs like old toys. Today, the most important letter left prison. Babies will laugh at flags like faces that have disappeared. Maybe I'll join them. But for now, these streets is made of saliva, and we raise half-full glasses to the basements that meant nothing, and the working poor who live there. We get shot. We get white sheets on California with a kitchen table likes to talk as much as the walls. The romance on the porch consists of hard residing. In this picture, characters talk spit. And know they're hard to kill. Now, the kitchen table knows this. The porch is almost convinced that one down is just one down. This town is coming to town. A circus watching itself, half distracted, half suicidal, thrilled children, dressed as cops, thrilled children, preaching, policing, intaking, hiring, snatching your money. This town's coming to town with tough trademarks to follow. Today, I watch capitalism walk on water and people play dead so that they could be part of America. Thank y'all, very much for coming out, you know what I'm saying? If I owe you money, and it's probably that I owe half this room money. Meet me down the street, I'll have it for you. Thank y'all for coming out.